Guys, it's Miss Weston. I am here to start chapter 6 with you. Our journal prompt for today is to write about a time you were upset about something but didn't want anyone else to know. So I want you to think about a time. It could be maybe you were at school and you were really upset because you didn't understand something, or you made a pitfall and you didn't want anyone to know, or maybe something happened at home that you were upset about and you came to school and just kind of tried to pretend like everything was going okay for you. But I want you to think about a time where you were feeling upset and you didn't want to talk to anybody about it. And I want you to write about what that day was like, how you felt, and why did you not want to tell anyone. So go ahead and pause the video to complete your journal entry for the day, and then resume the video when you're ready for vocabulary. All right, if you are back with me, you are ready to start vocabulary. So that means that you have finished your journal response for chapter 6. We're on week 3 here, April 20th through the 24th, and you are ready to start your vocabulary. So the first word I have is peon. A peon is someone who is basic. They just don't have a lot of power. So in the book, Byron is going to call Kenny a peon in order to put him down, to remind him that Byron's the one in charge. So the GIF I chose says, "Little brother, we have to talk." And I was making the connection to Byron and Kenny and kind of how they relate to each other. So your definition, again, of a peon, someone who's basic and just really doesn't have a lot of power, and it's an insult. So go ahead and write that down in your notes in the packet, and then resume the video when you're ready. All right. The next word we have is morning. And if you notice, it's spelled M-O-U-R-N instead of M-O-R-N. So I'm not talking about when you wake up in the morning. I'm actually talking about a different version of that word. So the definition of mourning is a period of sadness and grief that a person experiences during a loss. So for example, in Esperanza Rising, Esperanza was in mourning over the death of her papa. She was very sad for a long time. But you can also be in mourning over things that you are sad about that don't have to do with death. So for example, I was mourning the loss of our school year. It's very sad for me, very hard for me. I've been feeling a lot of grief that we don't get to be together. But I do understand that it's because we have to keep people safe. But there was a period of time where I was feeling pretty sad because I miss my students. But now that we get to do our YouTube videos and we get to talk through Google Classroom and things like that, the mourning period is over, and I feel happy that I get to see and hear from you guys all the time. So I put in a GIF of this sadness from the movie Inside Out, in blue representing that sadness and that mourning. So go ahead and in your notes, you can add the definition of mourning and do a quick drawing or sketch, and then resume the video when you're ready for the last word. Okay, if you are resuming the video, you are ready for the last word for the day, and that word is conscience. The definition of conscience is the inner voice in your head that helps you decide what's right and what's wrong. So for example, I was going to shake my birthday presents to try and see what they were, but my conscience told me not to because it would be wrong. So for my picture example, my GIF, I chose this from Emperor's New Groove, and you can see Kronk, he's there. He's got his conscience on one side, and then on the other side, he's got, the voice that's telling him to do something bad, and he's trying to figure out which voice to listen to. So that is your conscience. So go ahead and write it down in your notes. You can write down the definition, do your quick picture in your packet, and then resume the video when you are ready. All right, thank you so much for coming back with me. That means that you're ready to read. And before we do that, I just wanted to go over 2 things that will help you understand this chapter a little bit better. So the first is the word welfare. Welfare is support that's given to people in need for food assistance. So basically what happens is if a family is unable to pay for food for their their family, or they don't have enough money to pay for all the food that they need, then they can apply to get help and support from the government, and they will be able to receive money that they can use towards buying food for their families um, every month. And so in the book, Byron is talking about welfare in a negative way, and I just wanted to let you know that it's actually a positive thing that people are able to get help to to feed their families. If we think about the Universal Declaration for Human Rights, and we think about the right that everybody has to the things that they need, like food, clothing, and shelter, it's actually a good thing that people have the opportunity to get food and get support with food if they need it. So that's the first thing I wanted to just make sure you understood. And then the second thing is a little bit more fun. In the book, they call these cookies Swedish cream cookies, and I had never heard of them before. So I wanted to show you a picture of what they look like so that you can picture it in your mind while you are reading. So this is a Swedish cream cookie. You can see that it looks like kind of a light cookie on top, and then there's colored frosting in the middle. So Byron will be eating some of these, and you can be picturing it in your brain while he's talking about it. So that is all the context building I have for you today. Here is what I want you to focus on while you're reading your purpose question. Focus on how Kenny is responding to the problem, and then focus on how Byron is responding to the problem. Because after you read the chapter, I'm going to have you comparing and contrasting, looking at how they're reacting similar and different. So while you're reading, you're just thinking about, okay, how's Kenny focusing on the problem? How's he responding? What's he thinking? How's Byron responding to the problem? What's he thinking? What's he doing? So the next video will be your read aloud for chapter 6, and then we will come back together to look at our comprehension questions and our activities for the day. See you in a bit.